Hello, good evening, everybody. It is Friday night, January 12th, and we come to party. We're going to be writing an offer for our property. My idea of a good time. Anytime you can help somebody and help yourself in making money and helping someone get a property or helping someone sell a property is a good night. Very exciting, very exciting. So, transaction desk is what we're currently using. I went ahead and pulled just a little bit of information from the MLS, but basically title it, the street address. It'll go through a wizard and imports the documents and the forms that you need. Main form and making it, I don't know if it's a main form. Well, it is the purchase and sale agreement, and there's just so many others that you have to include in your offer, depending who you work for, what broker you work for, if you're your own brokerage, disclosures, wire fraud warning, compensation agreement between who sells the property, who lists the property, who's getting paid what, how much are you getting paid, and what the heck is going on. But main one here, purchase and sell. So we're at 4436 Ryan Street, Memphis, Tennessee 38127. And basically a blank document here. I did not create any contact information, any contacts in here for my seller or my buyer. But you go through here. We're on the MLS here. There's our docs tied. So we basically copy and paste our MLS number. Go ahead and type out or copy and paste your address in there to it. And this one, yeah, every offer, they always say every offer is different. Every deal is different, and it really is. There are a whole lot of similarities to each one, but little nuances to each one can be different. Like in this one, public remarks, it says, excellent home for an investor or a first-time home buyer. 3-bedroom, 1 bath with a new roof, less than 1 year old. New water heater, fresh paint inside and out. All new vinyl flooring throughout. New HVAC system and all new windows. No wholesalers or assignments. And then in the private remarks, or what's called realtor remarks, it has, please use attached documents when making an offer. No HVAC, water heater, or appliances, but been remodeled. Seller will replace those things at closing. No wholesalers or assignments. Please text listing agent for access information. So it says it does have them, but it doesn't. So apparently it's going to get them at closing. Cash, it could be after closing, or you could work out something, but pretty much after closing, it is closed. So it's kind of tough to close, especially if it's a loan. The bank or a bank, I don't know of a bank that's going to close it without it being a functional home of having hot water, air and heat. So we're going to have to work that out. And so I did message the agent who is listing this property to find out details on that. And we're just going to have to tailor our offer to what they said. And what they said was if it's a full price offer, then there will be new appliances. No washer and dryer. Those aren't, those are, I mean, they can stay. Like I say, every deal's different. They can stay, but generally they don't. Built-in appliances stay if they are there. Stove, vent hood, built-in microwave, kind of anything that's appears built in. Washer and dryer, TVs like that. No, like your TV mounts. If they're on the wall, they stay. But this is a vacant home, and we'll get to our offer here in transaction desk. I'm just going to leave the name out there, but your name goes here. So in the MLS, this is MAR data. We just need to get a little bit of info on the house to make our offer. as so there's no plat book or page number for us to put in there, which I always like to do here and here. Also there, I always put parcel ID and tax ID, and don't mean to be OCD, but I just am. You want this to be right. So 4436 Ryan Street. And down there we'll have our tax ID. There is no remotes. I don't like writing offers or any paperwork with nothing filled in, blanks. So NA, you want it to be filled in, basically. Most offers I write, alarm systems, things like that. Typically the buyer doesn't want to assume a lease for an alarm system. Now there could be some things that where you would want to assume a lease. In some cases, you may that you can't be forced to do anything, but in some cases, solar, it may be in case by case basis. It's all about communication and contacting. If there is a leased item, contacting that lease. What is that lease? Can you break the lease? Yada, yada, yada. And so this agent here that's representing the seller, of course, whoever you're representing, you're wanting, you have a obligation, duty to protect your client, whether you represent the seller or you represent the buyer. So the seller is going to want to get the most they can for that house, and the buyer isn't necessarily going to want to get the house as cheap as they can, but the best terms, best price possible. So this home, it's cumulative days on market 153 days on market 28. So it's on the market, took it off the market. A lot of things can happen when that goes down. They could have taken it off to do some repairs. They could have taken it off to kind of get a refresher in the market to where it just shows lower days on market. You can still see the total days on market, but so many real estate agents out there, and little things that some of them may do to try to get their client's property sold or get their offer accepted and get the get their offer accepted and get the property for their buyer. So a lot of things go on. So we're at on our offer price. Try to keep all my notes, anything I got in here. So I got a closing date, just take little notes along the way. Usually who I'm working with, I just took that out. Just I don't want to give every piece of info out here. But they're wanting to offer that, and great, 87,000 US dollars. They can always, you've got 3 options when you submit this 11-page document in, which I'd say is the main one. And usually I send this in to see if it's accepted, countered, or reject. That's the only options that the seller can do. They can accept it, counter it, or flat out reject it, or some agents just don't even respond or reply. And that means they're not working or they don't accept the offer, and run into a lot of crazy things and things you can explain. Life is stranger than fiction. So we do have a loan. We are a conventional loan here, and I believe the pre-approval conventional loan typically is about 80%. It could be little variance there, but that's where we're at. So it's contingent on us getting financing. We do have our pre-approval letter. Send that in with the offer to make it stronger. If you represent the seller and there isn't one, probably won't be accepted, or that'll be the next question. Hey, do you have a pre-approval letter? So loan, financing contingency. This, you waive this if, basically if it's cash. Lot of investors or usually this price point, work with a lot of cash investors, and we would just put our bank statement along with the offer and would check that versus checking the loan terms of their conventional loan. And it's a loan, so the bank's going to want it to appraise. So we'll have to check that. This agreement's contingent on the appraised value equaling or exceeding the agreed upon purchase price. And it's kind of boilerplate with the brokerage that I'm with. And typically in this area, Memphis, Tennessee, typically the seller will pay to get an abstract of title to say, hey, I'm selling my property and the title's clear. There's no liens on it. It's clean. And buyer has to pay for mortgage policy, mortgage insurance that they will be responsible for paying. And prorated, you'll have closing expenses. You can ask for closing expenses with your offer. You cannot ask for closing expenses. It really just varies on the buyer that you're representing and what they want to do. You can always suggest to them, hey, I would suggest you ask for a little bit of closing, ask for the majority of closing. It has to be an amount, seller to pay up to $5,000 prepaid and or closing costs for buyer, or not. And we'll put in here the closing agency for the buyer, and then we'll put in the one. We'll have to go back to the MLS and see in their documents which closing agency the buyer wants to use. If they put it in here, sometimes you have to contact them to find out. Sometimes it's not all in here, and sometimes buyers will wonder, why has this property been in the market for so long? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? And it could be the key's not working. I've called brokers 3 times. Hey, the key doesn't work. I can't get in this property. Would you let me know when there's a key in there? Call back 2-3 weeks later. Oh yeah, we put a new key in there, but never a phone call from them. And that's just days on the market that the seller's property is sitting and not being sold. So here we're looking for the title company, or who's holding the earnest money and who's going to close for the seller. And I do not see it in here, so I'm going to have to get that. And each little hiccup here, you just have to, you got to be a go-getter. You got to get that information. If the seller didn't put it up here, you've got to find it to put in with your offer. What title company they're going to use, how much earnest money. I typically go 5 to 7 days. I recommended $1,000 earnest money. And we will do a wire and or check. Actually, this buyer is out of state where I'm at, so this will be a wire. And we'll use a mobile notary to get closing docs signed. They're not going to fly in, sign documents at a closing. So it'll be a mobile notary that'll meet them anywhere, home, work, sign documents, and get this deal done. I proposed a closing date of February 14th, so typically it is January 12th. Typically, you want to go 30 days out, maybe 35. If you have your pre-approval letter and you just stay on it, you should be okay. You can always do a amendment to the purchase and sale agreement to change closing date, or to change anything. You can do an amendment for dates, a number of things, but right here, that's what comes to mind for why we would need to change and why that may not work out. We're going to put the offer in. The first step is putting the offer in, getting your offer accepted, writing the strongest offer you can, communicating with the other agent, find out what's important to that seller. If they're willing to tell you, they should, if they want to get the seller's property sold. That's the name of the game. Is it's for sale. They typically want to sell it typically, and you want to find out what's important to them. Quick closing. Of course, everyone wants cash offer, full price offer, cash. And that isn't always the case. At closing, no temporary occupancy agreement here. This is an investor that's wanting to build his investment portfolio, so we don't need a temporary occupancy agreement in this case at all. Those do come into play when you kind of need a little time to move. So if you're especially if you have a home that's you a lot of people, they move, they need to sell their current home to move. So you'll put in an offer that's contingent on selling your current home. And I'm kind of going on a little rant here, but if so on that, I would recommend a temporary occupancy agreement because you want to get that offer accepted on the home they're moving to, and then you want to get an offer on the home that you are selling. And depending how those dates line up, you want a temporary occupancy agreement so they can stay in the home they're at while they're getting moved and while they're moving into the new home, or there will be a hotel involved, and who likes that? Money, it's a stressful situation, no doubt about it. Not as stressful for investors because you're not moving, but it can be. I'd say least stressful when it is a vacant property, then it's not as much stress going on there. But anyhow, I would use a temporary occupancy agreement if you're listing a home and you want to move in to a new home and it's contingent on selling your current. See so many offers that Greenbelt just to where this just isn't checked, and so it's got to be over a certain amount of acreage, 15 acres to maintain Greenbelt status. This is not 15 acres at all. We are at 872 square feet of the property. Lot size is 5,750 square feet, so not even close to the 47,560 square feet needed for 1 acre. And so we will not be maintaining Greenbelt status on this one, folks. Social assessment in here, if you're asking for closing costs, which you would kind of repeat in a couple of sections on your purchase and sale agreement here, we're not asking for closing costs, so I'm going to leave that area blank. Oh no, blank, no blanks. I'll leave that one blank. Won't leave it in a deed. I'm going to put my buyer's name there. This will fill in with my name at the bottom of each page. And if it's built on or prior to 1978, then lead-based paint applies. I'm pretty certain this one is. Just want to verify. Yes, it does. It's built in 59. So it does apply. Typically here, so you got 3 dates. Buyer's inspection period, then you got a resolution period, and then you got a final walkthrough period. That's typically where I'll fall. I'll go 10, 5, 3. And make notes along the way to keep up with myself and each deal that's going on, so I do not miss a deadline. So in your buyer's inspection period, so you'll come at the bottom here when you do get your offer accepted. You will have a binding agreement date here. Once it's bound, that'll be your binding agreement date. And when 10 days pass, you have 10 days to schedule a home inspection and tell the seller, this is from the standpoint of being a buyer. So put in your offer, get your offer accepted. You have that binding agreement date. From that day, you have 10 days to do your home inspection, find out what the home inspector says about the property. What do you like or don't like about what's on the home inspection? Now, it's the home inspection is not to bring a property up to code. This house was built in 1959, so home inspection has a lot of boilerplate language in there, and it can scare a lot of people, rightly so. Just the way that it's worded with a lot of legalese and everything, but you have 10 days to tell the seller, back and forth with a repair and replacement proposal, ultimately come into an amendment that will be what has to be done within 5 days. So in that 10-day period, you'll schedule your home inspection, find out what you don't like on that home inspection, do a repair replacement proposal to the seller and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, the roof's shot on this property. We want a new roof. The hot water heater isn't working. We need a new hot water heater. 10 days to get that done. And then we have 5 days to resolve that. And these lists can be, I've had them to where it's one item, some no items, don't ask for no repairs, some 3 pages and 2-point font of this, fix this, fix this, fix this. And it's a negotiation, I wonder sometimes it's like, what? Like what's in the buyer's mind or what's in the other side of the agent's mind to present all of these repairs. And but every house is different. I get it. If I'm buying a house, there's going to be certain things that I could live with or can't live with or reduce the price on. And that's basically what your 10 and 5-day period is doing, is presenting to the other side of what you would like to have done on the property, or amend the purchase price to lower it for the repairs that you would like to have done on the property. But like I say, it's not to bring up to have ground fault interrupter circuits installed in the bathrooms and the kitchen and the exterior, and everything else that is new in 2024. But it's to get the home. Appraisers go on sound, safe, sanitary. So basically, from a bank's perspective, it has to check certain boxes. Is it safe? Is it sound? Is it sanitary? Do you have ingress and egress? Do windows, doors open, close? Things like that. So it's not for every little nitpicking thing that can come up, and that does come up sometimes. So I'm babbling, and anyhow, and then you have your final walkthrough, and this could be 3 days, 1 days. I like to give a little flexibility because life happens all along the way of while you're buying a home or buying an investment home. So you want to walk through to make sure, this will be out of state purchase. So I would walk through for my client and record a video to ensure that all the repairs that we agreed upon that were going to be done, that they're done, and everything works to what we agreed upon. Especially in any case, but this case, they stated in the public remarks, it stated that we got a new HVAC system, all new windows, and but in the private remarks that won't syndicate to Zillow or anywhere else, these private remarks or realtor remarks, it says there is no HVAC, there is no water heater or appliances, but it's been remodeled, and the seller will replace those things at closing. So it'll have to be before closing in this case, because the bank isn't going to say, okay, close, and then hopefully the seller will put those in. That won't happen. So we'll have a 3-day final walkthrough. And just scrolling through here. I always ask, do you want a home warranty? And this seller did not want a home warranty, so we're waiving that. There's some agents that do that on, or try to do that on every property, and it can pay off. I've heard a lot of good things about them for what they do cover from a few different companies. So, you know, from changing locks to fixing things, and you can get. I'd recommend like seller's coverage. If you have a listing for $625 to and it's 2024, and that price subject to change because I do not own a home warranty company. So price, square footage, everything, depending on the systems, can be a different price. And seller's coverage is a different price than a buyer's policy here, to where you're trying to get it from the buyer's perspective. I believe it's a little cheaper. Don't hold me to that though. You would want to get with a home warranty company such as Choice Home Warranty, and there are others as well. A lot of other boilerplate languages. We don't have any thing here to add for addendum, special stipulation. I will add on this one special stipulations. There's not going to be any in here that are typed up, so I will have to use my rub my brain cells together and put in here to make sure that our appliances, HVAC, see HVAC, hot water heater. They said appliances. I asked what appliances, and they responded, if we have a full price offer, they will put new systems in. So didn't get a response on if it's not a full price offer, will they be used? So we got a little pickle here that we got to work through, and I'll work this language out here. And you can do a time of offer. It doesn't state here in this one. Some of them will, you know, please allow 48 hours on your offer for seller to respond. Don't see that in here. But I just give at least 24. I mean, it's 6 o'clock, feels like it's midnight on a Friday party. And so I'll give 48 hours, you know, unless your client tells you otherwise. I would give them 48 hours to respond. And so the new forms change. We used to have to go here and do initials for it. Now we had a whole new form to add, and that's it. This is the main form. Other ones, a lot of just a lot of covering your butt type of forms, and much shorter. This I would say is the longest and the most important, because this is your offer. This is the offer you're putting in to purchase the property. And whether it's a $5,000 property that's being bought all cash, these are the TAR forms, Tennessee Area Association Realtor forms. I've seen investors use 3-page documents to purchase properties. There probably is some longer forms out there, I would imagine, but this is the realtor form for Tennessee that we use to purchase properties, and this will get it done. So this is the main one, and this is how we do it. So yeah, from $5,000 properties to $5 million properties and over, the form doesn't change. I don't know if we have over a $5 million property here on the residential end of property. You know, we got 4.5 million, same form. Everything applies. There's nothing different. You communicate the same way with your seller, with your buyer. Same tricks and games and stuff can be played, but you're ultimately wanting to work out for your seller or for your buyer, for your client, to get what they want, which is the property sold or the property bought at the best terms for your client. And that is it. So I do have some work to do. I've got to get some additional information to fill the rest of this out, but wanted to show you this and update everyone on the 2024 Tennessee Association of Realtors TAR forms and how you get an offer accepted in 2024. Hope everyone's doing okay. God bless all and have a good night. Take care.